All right, Zach, you know what's not helping the EV revolution?
I mean, I'm Elon Musk, but maybe he is, maybe he is. I don't know. What's the right answer?
Toyota, and specifically Toyota's new EV, the mumbo jumbo named BZ4X.
How much? Wait, quick question for you. How much do you think they paid branding consultants to come up with BZ4X?
Not enough, apparently. Not enough. So I'm still shocked by how bad of a deal the Toyota BZ4X is. I am a huge EV nerd, EV advocate. I love driving electric. But this new electric crossover is not going to help people buy into the electrification of the auto industry.
And why is
now,
that?
keep in mind, well, first of all, I got to get personal here for a second. My first car was a Toyota, a 1995 Toyota Avalon, such a swag wagon. But 20 years later, 25 years later, Toyota's finally going electric. And they're coming out with the BZ4X that's going to get you 227 miles of range on a good day, a really good day. And if you want to charge it on a road trip, you're going to sit there for over an hour to charge it. This is wild, Zach, and I don't know why anyone would buy this for $43,000 in 2022.
So obviously price point is something that's on your mind. Wow, that's an expensive Toyota. But to be honest and to be fair, I think the average transaction price for a Toyota last month in April was $40,000. It was north of $40,000. So Toyotas are getting more expensive, but still, it's not super attainable, price attainable. The charging time's slow and the range not particularly impressive. Are there any other reasons that you're saying it's not as compelling as your good old swag wagon? Never heard that phrase, and I love it.
Hold up, Zach. Hold up. We got to talk about this range for a second and this charging speed a little bit more because I need to elucidate just how big of a deal this is. In 2022, you could buy a Chevy Bolt for $30,000 and charge at about the same speed and get better range.
Yeah, and just get a really long extension cord for when you park it at your neighbor's garage. That's a joke.
Yeah.
They fixed them.
Social distancing.
They fixed them.
Not to mention a Nissan Leaf for like $27,000. These EVs cost tens of thousands less, but get better or at least the same performance as the Toyota BZ4X. So I just needed to reiterate that if you don't travel a lot, maybe you can consider this Toyota if you just have to have a Toyota. But if you're a road tripper, what would it be like to stop every 175 miles on the interstate and sit there for an hour? That's not for me. Should we talk incentives though, Zach?
Are there any incentives? There can't be incentives. Are there incentives?
Well, for a few months there are.
Yeah.
So Toyota still qualifies for the $7,500 federal EV tax credit, but they're running out of these credits quickly because of the success of, ironically, the Toyota RAV4 Prime. So many have bought, quite frankly, what is an excellent plug-in hybrid, the RAV4 Prime and the Prius Prime, that Toyota's very quickly running out of these credits. And imagine buying this slow-charging, low-range electric crossover without the incentive that almost every other automaker can benefit from right now.
Looking for a car? Look no further than joinyaa.com. Go check out the cars listed there. There's no BS, no lead gen forms, no anything. Just cars.
Worth mentioning, Justin has an incredible article. He keeps updated on all of the EV tax incentives back on the joinyaa.com website. We'll put a link down below to that. And Justin, if I'm not mistaken, it's 200,000 vehicles can have the EV tax credit incentives applied to them. Tesla's already up, GM's already up, and like you said, Toyota with their plug-in hybrids is getting close to being up on that as well. And actually, that leads me to a question, Justin. Do you think Toyota's kind of limping into the EV game because they actually want more people to go the plug-in hybrid route? Because they do crush it there. Like, RAV4 Prime demand right now is through the roof. Like, you literally can't find one to buy, and the prices on those are getting marked up like crazy. But do you think this is an intentional decision to actually go deeper and dig their heels in on the plug-in hybrid route?
They're making money off of these plug-in hybrids. Over on YAA Car Search, I just saw some RAV4 Primes selling for over $60,000. Apparently, they're doing well with the RAV4 Prime. I feel like Toyota might be making excuses for itself because they've waited so long to dive into the EV game. In fact, they had to partner with Subaru to get this first vehicle out of research and development and into drivers' hands.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of success with hybrids. I mean, when I was in middle school, I was such an EV nerd that I used to count Priuses. I remember driving on the school bus, counting Priuses out the window. Who does that?
Not me. No.
Yeah, well, that's how popular the Prius was.
Yeah.
And they still sell hundreds of thousands of these vehicles in the U.S. every year. They don't really need to make money with the BZ4X, but I guess for compliance, they cranked it out. However, there is a silver lining that's years down the road. You ready for this, Zach?
I like silver linings.
Toyota claims that they will be the first one to bring solid-state batteries into production. But you know what they're going to bring it into production with? Drum roll, please. A plug-in hybrid, not even a full EV. Yeah, so Toyota, they're figuring themselves out. They might be going through a bit of a midlife crisis, but they'll get there, right? They're still America's top-selling automaker as of last year.
Yeah. I wonder how Mary Barra and
Still
GM,
weird to say that.
Yeah, I wonder how Mary Barra and GM feels about that. It is interesting though, Justin, because you look at like, I don't know, a Hyundai or a Kia who are really kind of going all in on EV, and then you look at Toyota and you're starting to see a little bit of the separation of strategies, like all in on EV, Hyundai, Kia, all in on plug-in hybrid, Toyota, and kind of like we'll give you something on the EV front, but we're also still going to play around with this like hydrogen fuel cell technology too. Like that's kind of what I sense from Toyota.
Yeah, we'll see what they plan to do next. They do claim to have a whole electrified lineup coming, including possibly an electric Tacoma. I'm sure that would be very in demand as long as it doesn't take an hour to charge, right?
How like what else do the executives at Toyota North America need to see between the Ford demand for the F-150 Lightning, the Chevrolet demand for the Silverado, the upstart companies like Rivian, et cetera? Like they've got to come out with a Tacoma or a Tundra EV. The thing is, though, they're probably, you know what they're going to do? They're going to come out with a PHEV version. You're hearing it right here. This is my uneducated guess. I think they're going to come out with a hybrid version of those powertrains, not a full EV version. And I bet you they sell like even better. Honestly, Toyota already sells even better than Ford and GM, so I bet you that continues. My guess.
And with the possibility of upcoming battery shortages, that might be a good business move. Go the PHEV route. We'll see. Toyota must know something that we don't, right?
You may have just hit on it though, Justin. Like again, their EV, the BZ, the whatever it is, right? Like the what do you think they say in Canada? The BZ4X. That's even worse.
I think they say Z in Britain.
Okay, whatever. It's still even worse. But the BZ4X is really kind of low on the totem pole. I think what do they have one for Lexus? What's the Lexus EV that they have kind of in production?
They do have a Lexus equivalent coming out with the same specs, higher price point, more spicy looking exterior features, but it's the same thing. And if I were you, I would not pay $50,000 for it.
Time out. Someone out there find a brochure from Lexus that claims that their interiors are spicy looking. I want to see some marketing material that says spicy looking. My point being, Justin, I think you're right. I think what you said a moment ago, they know something we don't, which is they can't produce enough batteries to meet full EV demand. They know that consumers just want to get more fuel efficiency because gas prices going up like crazy. Their middle ground is let's build a bunch of PHEVs and that make people happy. And I wouldn't be surprised come 2025, 2026. I know there's still going to be a lot of talk about going full electric vehicle. I wouldn't be surprised if Toyota's out there selling like magnitudes more vehicles than EVs as hybrid powertrains. Would not be surprised.
So they found a niche for themselves. They found their lane, and they're going to stick to it until solid-state batteries sneak out of the lab and into the first electric vehicles. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. All right. Interesting take. Appreciate you sharing it with us, Justin. And your final recommendation, I just want to get it on. You do not recommend buying the B. Let's just call it the B. Do you not recommend buying the Toyota B?
Do not buy the Toyota B Z4X.